Most people just see me as the guy who runs and yells while he's running, and yeah, I do that to motivate people. But what people don't realize is that my entire day is divided into pieces. I work out, I eat, I sleep, but most of my time is spent studying. I'm in the medical field, a paramedic in Canada, and I spend a lot of my time digging deep into every little part of it. I'm not trying to just be a regular paramedic who knows veins, arteries, how the heart works. I'm pushing myself to understand so deeply that I could actually save someone's life, really save it. And yeah, there are medics all over doing that. But I want to be the kind that can break down exactly what's going wrong and know exactly what drug to give, where to give it, why to give it. I'm trying to learn the whole pattern behind it all, so I spend a lot of time on it. I'm not naturally smart. What I mean is, I was born with ADHD. My brain has a hard time keeping information. I'm not a natural runner, not a born lifter, nothing came easy. I'm truly the guy at the bottom when it comes to talent, and people just don't believe that. They believe what they want. So when someone asks what studying looks like for me, it's a grind. I have to go over the same page again and again and again. Jennifer, for example, she can look at a page while quizzing me, and she learns it just like that. She doesn't even know the stuff, and she learns it while asking the questions. It's beyond frustrating. So what I do is grab a pen and a notebook, open my books, and write down every single thing, every day. I keep writing until the page is etched in my mind like a photo. Then I go back and do it all again, pick up more from the details. If I'm studying a drug, I first learn how to even pronounce it. These are not basic names. They're tough, long, complicated. So I start by learning how to say it right. Then I learn what it does, then the dosage. It's a long, painful process every single day. It's never got it. It's always keep grinding. So when I talk about this stuff, you can tell how much it means to me. Nothing in my life has been easy. At 24, I weighed 300 pounds. I didn't wake up one day and say, let's go be a Navy SEAL. I already knew my life would be full of struggle. That's why I ignored it for a long time. I didn't want to even try to read, write, memorize. Didn't want to become something I wasn't. But during that long fight, something inside me shifted. And that's why I don't feel sorry for anyone. People might think I'm lying, or trying to make it sound worse than it was. But I was at rock bottom. No talent, no memory, no drive. But I still built something from there. That's why when people ask me about studying, it makes me angry, not because of the question, but because of what it takes from me. I'm 49 now. I'm a multimillionaire. I don't need to do any of this. I could easily stop. But when I was young, I dreamed of the day I wouldn't have to try so hard. What happened, though, I grew up, and now this is how I live. It's my discipline, my daily method, a decision I made. The real question I asked myself was, what are you willing to give up to figure out who you really are? And I was ready to sacrifice everything to find that answer. So this studying stuff, it's not a joke. My brain is now wired to go all in with anything I do, even when I run. It's not like I'm some amazing runner. I've had multiple knee surgeries. My body's been all twisted, and it's still adjusting. My first 20 minutes running, I'm limping. Literally, my body's messed up, so when people see me limping, they're right. But I'm focused on how to make the most out of this broken body. Everything I do is done with full attention at that moment. But most people don't want to train their focus. They don't want to go through the hard part of learning how to pay full attention. That's where people miss what I'm trying to say. They hear me curse or shout, and they stop listening. But the reason I speak like that is because it takes every bit of me to learn even one sentence. So when I talk about myself, about David Goggins, I can't say it in a soft, chill way. I wake up every day knowing how hard I've had to fight for any little piece of progress. None of this is natural. None of it is easy. People see others go through life and think it's smooth. Not for me. Every day requires all of me. So when I talk about it, my voice rises, the fire comes out, because I'm right back in that grind. I'm doing it all again, just like always. So yeah, I go hard, I grind, but I also take moments for my mind. When I'm in the shower, I'm in what I call a mental aid station. I'm not thinking about people or tasks. I'm resetting. Same thing when I'm in the car or eating. It's my mental break. That's how I keep grinding without losing it. Most people need something in front of them. A race, a goal, a reason to move. That used to be me too, But for the last 20 years or more, I don't need a reason. That's the part people miss. We keep searching for some deep purpose. Is it money, family, whatever? But the truth, the purpose is you. Every morning I wake up and I ask myself, do you want to be a coward today? Do you want to walk around all day knowing you could have done more but didn't? You have to learn to act without needing a reason. Without a finish line, just grind, even when there's no visible reward. People think my knees are bad because of all the miles I've run, but that's not true. I was born with all kinds of issues. My alignment was off. I have sickle cell, a whole list of health problems, so I had to choose, sit still, do nothing, or see how far the human body can go. And the more I tested my limits, the more I realized my mind was getting stronger. The knee pain, it never really went away, but I've done this so long that it became normal, and sometimes you have to shut off your emotions. I'd wake up, feel terrible, and tell myself forget your feelings. That doesn't mean I don't care about feelings in general. It means sometimes feelings lie. Sometimes you've got to move past them. I've learned how fast life can change. I always stay ready. If one day I can't run anymore, I'll swim or go to school or find something else. Running isn't who I am. I always keep my mind ready for the next phase. What I started doing was front-loading. Back in the day, I was a wreck. I'd say I can't do this. I'm not enough. I'm a failure. Then one day, I pulled my head out of that mess and said you can actually do amazing things if you get up and start. I began to front-load my life. I put in the work early. That's why by age 47, I'd already done so much. Military career, big achievements, money, races, records, pull-ups, all of it, because I didn't want to wait and see what life gave me. I wanted to stack up as much as I could while I had the chance, so when hard times hit, I don't panic. I already put in the work. I have the strength, the willpower, the confidence. When I wake up, I know who I am. That's the power of front-loading. I didn't do this to prove anything to others. It was always about owning my life. A lot of people out there, they've written books, got deals, but they can't even tell their real story on stage because someone else owns their voice. Not me. I made sure to own every part of Can't Hurt Me. I didn't want anyone telling me what I could or couldn't say about my life. When I look in the mirror, I know I built this version of myself. I created him. It wasn't easy. I'm not boasting, but I'm amazed by what's possible when a human really decides to go all in. That's why sometimes I speak about myself in the third person, because I know exactly how much effort it took to become this version of me. I didn't know how to build a strong person. I wasn't trained for it. My parents didn't teach me. Life didn't hand me the tools, but it gave me enough pain to learn, and through that pain, I learned how to put the pieces together. The first few versions were messed up, but I kept learning. Now I look at what I've built, and it blows my mind. I became the mechanic of my own soul, and I did it by being real, by being raw. The key to my strength was being open, telling the truth, saying, hey, I've lied before, I've been weak, I've faked it, I've looked for approval. But then saying, that's not who I want to be anymore, and that's how I changed. Most people get judged for who they are, not why they became that way, but I had to accept. Yeah, I turned into someone I didn't like. But I didn't create that version on purpose. Life shaped me, and now I had to reshape myself. Nobody's coming to save you. You've got to go back to where it all started and fix what broke you. That's the truth. When you come from a place where people don't expect much from you, and all you want is to be somebody, you've got to push harder than anyone else. It takes a real mindset shift to get out and let your mind open up. A small town can really shut your mind down. Not everyone, of course, but for a lot of people it happens. You've got to be able to go out there and learn how to be open-minded. You need space to see what's really out there in the world. See, I didn't grow up being that guy. People see me now and they label me. They see the man with no shirt doing over 4,000 pull-ups in 17 hours, running 205 miles in 39 hours, doing wild things like that. But what they don't understand is how I got here. They have no idea what it took. The truth is, I used to be the complete opposite of what I am today. I was the guy who ran from everything hard. Everything that made me uncomfortable, I avoided. Nobody really knew that side of me. There were two versions of me. The real version was this scared, insecure kid who stuttered, got beat by his father, and was afraid of everything. Then I created this fake version of me that walked around like I had it all figured out. Like nothing could touch me. That's the version most people saw. But deep inside, I knew I was lying to myself, lying to everybody. It took a long time to come to terms with that. My dad beat me badly growing up. I was the first black baby born in a hospital called Millard Fillmore in Buffalo, New York. My dad owned skating rinks, bars, and he ran prostitutes from Canada to Buffalo. He was deep into that kind of life. A hustler, a player. He reminds me of that movie with Denzel Washington, American Gangster. Not quite that big, but similar vibe. He was rough, cold, and violent. I remember my mom getting knocked out at the top of the stairs once. He dragged her down by her hair. I was 6. That image never left my head. I lived scared every single day, but I had this little voice in my head. This voice would talk to me, push me, tell me to get up and do something. I didn't want to, I just wanted to hide, but that voice never let me rest. I remember trying to fight my dad when I was 6. I got beat down, obviously, but that's what life was like. It went on like that for years. I had a serious learning disability, too. My dad didn't believe in school. He cared only about the business, so the skating rink opened at 7:00 p.m. From as young as 4 or 5 years old, I would be there working, scraping gum off floors, cleaning up after people, and then sleeping in his office at night. My brother and I would sleep there while my mom worked the bar upstairs until 3:00 a.m. After that, they cleaned the bar. We rarely went to school, and when I did, I couldn't keep up. I had bad social anxiety, couldn't focus, couldn't read well. I was just this broken kid coming from a broken home. From the outside, people didn't see it. We lived in a white neighborhood, but we worked in the ghettos of Buffalo. All day, I was around black folks. At home, I was around whites. Nobody had a clue what happened at 2011 Paradise Road. That house was full of chaos. Eventually, when I was around 8, my mom found the strength to leave. We moved to a small town in Brazil, Indiana, and that's when my real battle started. I didn't want to go back in the water. The fear took over. All the pain, the trauma, everything came back. Even though no one could tell from the outside, I carried it with me everywhere. So I made up this version of me who acted tough, but inside I was still messed up. Living with that version of myself was exhausting. When I joined the military, I thought I was tough enough to make it. But then we had to do this water training, and I cracked. The fear got the best of me. I wanted out. I hoped they'd give me a medical discharge so I could leave with some pride. No quitting, just a kick out, but the doctor said, "We can put you back in." I was crushed. I thought, man, I missed 1 week. There are only 3 weeks left. I can maybe tough it out. So I considered going back, but when I talked to the CO and the sergeant, they said I'd have to start all over from day one. I broke. I couldn't imagine going through it again, so I lied. I told them I was afraid of my sickle cell trait, like that was the real reason. It wasn't. It was the water, the fear. I didn't get medically kicked out. I quit. Even though they gave me a way out, deep down I knew I had quit. It took a while to accept all of that. I came home one night from spraying for cockroaches, just tired of who I was. Tired of being weak. I saw guys on TV going through Navy SEAL training. They were suffering, but they weren't quitting. And that voice in my head, it came back. That's what you need. It said, you need to suffer like that. And something clicked. I wasn't going anywhere in life. I was at the lowest point. Nothing was changing. Everyone around me was going nowhere, and I was one of them. I was just living what everyone expected me to be. Nothing. So I made the decision. I had to change everything, no matter what it took. From that moment, I started facing my fears instead of running. I started embracing discomfort. I forced myself to read even when I couldn't understand. I ran even when it hurt. I studied even when it didn't make sense. I worked on every weak part of myself until I couldn't recognize the old version of me. I still had that scared kid inside, but I wasn't going to let him run my life anymore. I was going to become something different. Now people see me and they think I was always this way. They don't know the real story. They don't know I used to cry in my car after work. They don't know I used to lie to myself daily. They don't know I had to fight for every single thing I have now, and that's okay. They don't need to know. I know. I remember every second of that journey, and that's what keeps me humble. That's what keeps me working. Because I never want to go back to being that scared little boy. and I know he's still in there waiting for a chance to come back. So every day I wake up and outwork him. I train, I read, I study. I push myself past comfort. Not for anyone else, but to prove to myself that I'm not that kid anymore. I built someone new, piece by piece, pain by pain, failure by failure, and I'm never going back. So, long story short, one day I turned on the Discovery Channel and saw these guys going through Navy SEAL training. They were deep into Hell Week. It was brutal. They were getting crushed, thrown in and out of cold water. Some were quitting and ringing the bell. They were suffering. At that moment, I was almost 300 pounds. I was lost. I felt like I had no future. I was exactly what everyone thought I would be. Nothing. I knew I had to change. Growing up, I had a rough life. I was called racist names every single day. I lived in a small town where the KKK headquarters was just about 20 minutes away. One of the higher-up Klan members' sons even sat behind me in class. He called me horrible things constantly. When I got my first car, someone painted threats on it. I grew up insecure and afraid. The only way I found any strength was by throwing myself into pain. No one was there to help me. My dad made my mom unstable. She worked 3 jobs, went to college full-time, and was barely around. One time, someone drew a picture of me with death threats in my Spanish notebook. I took it to my principal. He looked at it and said I needed to toughen up. That was his advice. So I realized no one was coming to save me. At 16, I started shaving my head. Every morning, I'd look in the mirror and hate what I saw. I felt like a scared kid going nowhere. Most people would hope someone might come to their rescue, but the best thing that ever happened to me was that no one did. No one felt sorry for me. Today, someone might step in to defend a kid like me, but back then, nobody cared. The KKK even marched in our parades. They had to stay 100 yards back, but they still marched. That's the kind of place I came from. My mom did care, but she was fighting her own battles. My dad took everything from her, and she did what she could. I had to decide I wouldn't stay a scared kid forever. The only way I could turn things around was through pain. I had to toughen my mind the same way people build calluses on their hands. When I broke the pull-up world record, it didn't happen instantly. I failed twice. I had to do over 67,000 pull-ups in training just to get the 4,030 I needed. To become the man I wanted to be, I had to stop seeing myself as the weakest guy alive. I never blamed God for anything, but I wanted to prove I could become the toughest man ever. Am I that? Who knows? But I needed a goal. When I wasn't in school, getting bullied, full of low self-worth, I knew the only person who could flip my life around was me. The only way to do that was by throwing myself into the worst kind of suffering. I needed to train my brain to handle anything, by going through the fire. These days, everyone's reading books about how to become someone else, but no one is reading the story they've already written, their own life. We live our lives every day writing a new page, but we never stop to read it. So I challenge anyone, man or woman, to look inside themselves. Find out what you truly want. What are you passionate about? We throw around phrases like only the strong survive, but they're just empty words unless you live them. People think I'm just talking, but this comes from my pain, from my experience. I believe, based on my life, that the only way you grow is by suffering. You move from discomfort to comfort, and when life gets easy again, most people never want to go back. I remember relaxing during training and thinking, maybe they'll kick me out, and that'd be fine with me. I wouldn't quit, but if they removed me, that would be a way out. A week later, the doctor called me in. I thought I was getting cut, so I skipped into his office, but he said, "You're going back in." That crushed me. I'd already done 6 weeks, had just 3 left. Then I found out I had to start over from day 1 because I'd missed important training. That was a major hit. Back then, I used to lie because I was scared. I didn't want people to see me as weak, and one officer told me, "We live in a world where average is rewarded, but these men hate average." That stuck with me. My whole life had been full of bullying, poverty, learning disabilities. Life was unfair, so what was I going to do about it? I realized that it was all on me now. No one was coming to rescue me. I needed to build a mindset that couldn't be broken. I sat on that couch, and I admitted it. I felt like garbage. And even though the world played a part, I helped build that false version of me. The best work you do comes when you don't feel like doing it. That's when it counts. You have to change how you think. I couldn't think like everyone else anymore. I couldn't be a regular guy doing regular stuff. No trainer was going to fix me. No program or miracle diet. It was on me, always has been. You either want to be great or you want to be okay. And being great hurts, that's the truth. I lost the weight. I went back. I entered beauty/S training. I became the only person in history to go through 3 hell weeks in 1 year. That's 130 hours of pain each time. Very little sleep. That's what it took. Why did I do it in 1 year? Captain Bowen, an old Vietnam vet, said that no matter what, if you missed part of training, you had to start over. That's why. He believed in doing it right, and I respected that. That's why my book is called Can't Hurt Me, because life is tough, and it should be. It's meant to test us, not pamper us. I see myself as an underdog, always have, everyone should, because once you think you've made it, you stop pushing. The can't hurt me mindset means you survive whatever life throws at you. Doesn't matter where you come from. If you believe you're unbreakable, that belief starts becoming real. Most mental toughness books are nonsense. They're all the same formula, but life doesn't follow a formula. We all have different backgrounds, different struggles. You need to figure out your own equation. Once you do, you can start growing. But first, you have to dig deep and find it. There's a big difference between giving 99% and 100%. I thought I was giving it all. Turns out I wasn't. That last 1% is what separates the great from the average. That's why it's easy to stand out. Most people are weak. Years ago, I looked in the mirror and saw a loser. That's what I called myself. Not anymore. I made the choice to go all in. People talk about balance. Sure, it's good. But if you want to be in that top 1%, balance won't cut it. You have to tell your family, I'll be home, but not today. You have to go deep, give more than you think is possible, and later, when you've earned it, you can bring your family into a better life. That's how you do it. They see you grinding day after day while they coast, but you keep climbing. That's what I did, and yeah, I've got money now, I've retired, but I'm still out here jumping fires in British Columbia. Still grinding, because there's no finish line. Ever. I'm not here to please everyone. If I say something and it doesn't apply to you, don't take it personally. I don't know your story. I'm just speaking real. I didn't succeed in the first half of my life because I didn't believe in myself. This isn't some fairy tale. This is real life. People ask why I still run ultra races, break pull-up records, fight fires at 47. It's not about money. It's about finding more, finding out what else I'm made of. I don't enjoy interviews or podcasts. I prefer action, less talk, more doing. That's why I stay hungry, always searching. Always building. I cap success on purpose. I don't ride the wave. I crash it and rebuild it. Because helping others means I must keep evolving. You can't help people by staying the same. You have to come back stronger every time. People buy my books not because they're perfect, but because they're real. All my lessons come from pain, not from winning. I built this version of myself from scratch. David Goggins wasn't enough. I had to create someone tougher. Even now, I get up early, dig into hard work, stay away from distractions. I stay hungry, but I stay humble too. That's how I help others, because I know what it feels like to be at the bottom. I've been there. This kind of mindset, it isn't for everyone, but that's okay. Some people won't understand, most won't, but we need the few who do. We need those who are willing to go beyond. Mental toughness fades if you don't keep training it. It's not permanent. You have to renew it daily. That's why some people hate me. I remind them that the work never ends. I hadn't run a 100-mile race in 6 years. I'd had heart surgery, injuries, doubts. I started calling myself a part-time savage. But then I woke up. I remembered who I am. I talked to Cameron Haynes and decided to try a 240-mile race. That was my new challenge, and at first it broke me. I got lost, got sick, had to stop for 12 hours, but I came back stronger. Later in that same race, I got pulmonary edema. I could barely breathe. The doctor said if I left the course again, I couldn't return. I had to make a call. I was beat up, but I pushed forward anyway, and I swear, I felt like someone was speaking to me. I thought it was Jennifer. It felt like, "You're not done yet, motherfucker." And I'm thinking, what the hell is this? But really, it was probably my own mind telling me, get your ass back out there. So I woke Jennifer up and asked, hey, how much time do we have until the cutoff? I already knew I was disqualified, so no matter what happened from here, I wasn't going to be listed as an official finisher in this race. But this wasn't about medals or attention anymore. Now it was about the fact that I could still move forward. Either I could sit there, do nothing, and think about this for an entire year until I came back to try again, or I could get out there just for myself. And in doing that, I could feel some kind of pride just for knowing I didn't give up, that I could, and I did. A lot of people ask, how do you do what you do? But at the end of the day, I only ask myself one thing: can I take one more step? And the answer most of the time is yes. So if I know I can take another step and choose not to, that is real failure. That's what quitting really is. So many people are physically able to go a little further, but they decide not to. I don't know if I can take 2 steps until I take the first one, but I always know I can take that one. If I don't, that's my choice. I have to live with that 1-second decision, that tiny single moment. I had to face that moment over and over in this race. This race took me many, many hours. And this is what people don't understand to finish that race. Even though I didn't officially finish, I still got it done within the time. That means something. There's a lot of pride in that. If your effort takes you several long hours, let's say like Hell Week, that's a perfect example. Hell Week is 130 hours. That's a crazy amount of time. Think about it, 130 hours is made up of thousands of seconds. And if you lose just 1 second, just one moment, it can cost you everything. So the 1-second decision really is that powerful. You're in a moment where everything hurts, life feels like it's falling apart, and you're cold. Let's say freezing in icy water. Your mind is screaming, your body wants to quit, and every time a wave hits you in the face, you think, I need to get the hell out of this water.